Our game today is brought to you from the beautiful AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. And it's a beautiful, one of the greatest stadiums, if not the greatest stadium in the whole world. Howdy folks. Before we get into this Katy Cedar Hill championship, I'm going to talk for a minute about what makes a Texas high school football dynasty. Hey, sorry, I sound a little plugged up. The cedar trees are doing their thing here in Austin this time of year. I filmed some absolute dynasties for you this weekend. Aledo has 10 rings now. Katy, if my facts are correct, 8. Westlake, if my facts are correct, 8. South Lake Carroll, if my facts are correct, 8. And my window into what makes a Texas football dynasty is Lake Travis, because my son played for them. In 2015, he graduated, and in that 6-year period before that, while Abe was with Lake Travis, I believe they won state 3 or 4 times, and they have 6 rings themselves. So here's the 3 ingredients that I saw that made a Texas high school football dynasty. Number 1, do you know what that is? Right, it's a funnel. Now here is how the funnel works. Once you are a nationally recognized football team in Texas, or in California, or in Florida, or Bishop Gorman in Nevada, you are on the radar of parents who know they have a kid who is really good. People come from all over to bring their kid into your program. Now in the spring football session at Lake Travis, we have 156 colleges that came to look at the guys in spring football. Here is a run that Abe pulled off in spring football that year, right in front of the Penn football coach that really got him an offer from Penn. Now my son Abe had a 1,500-yard, 20-touchdown junior year, and he was slated by one writer at the Austin Statesman to be the All-Central Texas Player of the Year. He was averaging 12 yards per carry, and then he snapped his ACL and had an MCL fracture in the game against Westlake in front of 10,000 people. So that kind of lowered his stock somewhat, but he would have got big time D1 offers. But as it was, he had a couple of D1 schools like Air Force and Texas State interested in him. But each great school in Texas develops a recruiting relationship with various universities. Like I heard that about 8 Euless Trinity players play for the Utah Utes because it's just a relationship they have. Lake Travis has a lot of relationship with Ivy League schools because the kids are usually smart too. So they have Harvard, Penn, Columbia, places like that recruiting from them, among others. So when parents like me know that they have a kid that is good, they kind of like to be able to have 156 college scouts looking at him. And if he's a running back, you really don't want him to have to play linebacker on some small potatoes little hometown school where the kid that is the son of the guy that's on the school board, he's obviously going to be the running back, while your 4-star recruit needs to be the linebacker or something else. So parents like me want to take their kids someplace where the competition is fierce and the best player plays. So you've got people from all over bringing their kid to the program. That expands the diameter of the top of the funnel. And then it's a big school. So even if parents like me were not doing that, you've got probably 3 7th grade teams. And the kids have to compete like crazy for a starting spot on the upper level 7th grade teams. In Lake Travis, for instance, they had the speed tests and a lot of empirical testing to determine which kids would be in the A, B, or C 7th grade squad. And you had to be an exceptional football player to even get in the 7th grade A squad. And then once you were in it, there was 3 kids, possibly from all over the country, that were as good or better than you that you had to compete with to get the starting spot. For my son, it was pretty exciting as a dad because our first game was at Murchison Matador Stadium in Austin. And as a 7th grader, they gave Abe the ball on the 13-yard line, and he took it 87 yards to the house. After that run and others, he earned the spot as the top dude in 7th grade. So junior high helped Abe move significantly forward in the funnel as high school approached. But in Lake Travis, you got a freshman squad, and then you got 2 JV squads, the white and the black, that usually don't even play freshmen. So there's another part of the funnel. And then at running back, although Abe was a balling running back that was squatting over 500 pounds and turning heads in the city, even as a JV black player, he did not even play in high school until his junior year, because the funnel is such at Lake Travis that they had an all-American running back doing starting duties in the varsity. His name was Sean Alexander. He played for TCU. So all of the local talent, the people bringing their players from different cities, go through this rigid funnel of several teams at each level competing for those starting spots on the Lake Travis varsity roster. I try to be careful not to exaggerate on my program because I think it undermines credibility, but I believe Coach Carter told me the actual number of scouts that came that spring football season was about 196. Now, the funnel is a great reason so many scouts show up at these great programs, because the scouts can watch what comes out the bottom of the funnel, not just go to normal high schools and see the top of the funnel. But it's nice at Lake Travis, for instance, because every kid that wanted to ever put on a football uniform can get in one and give it a go as a 7th grader. And some of these unlikely prospects end up becoming better than expected and earn spots on the varsity team. Just an interesting side note in the funnel at Lake Travis, when Abe was a freshman or sophomore in high school, another star was brought by his parents to Lake Travis. And he was another star running back from the South trying to compete for Abe's job. Abe was able to keep his spot and do just a little better than this individual. So by his senior year, they took him back to where he came from so he could be a star in his local county. So there's a huge diameter funnel that funnels down to a starting spot on the varsity squad, number 1. Number 2, there is the coaches. These coaches in these great high school programs like this are all being paid 6 figures. I think ours got 160 grand while I was there. Many of them have numerous college offers. Some of them have professional offers, and yet they're staying put as championship Texas high school football coaches. You have that kind of coaching and you can get some great results even at the high school level. Thirdly, it's facilities and equipment. Once you start winning state championships, advertising dollars come in, the people in the community get very generous, and you've got resources to deal with. I saw the Lake Travis facilities really come up to a new level during the 6 years that we were with the program. They got a nice electronic scoreboard, jumbotron. The field was redone in turf that is nicer than I've ever really seen, even in an NFL stadium. Big and beautiful, and it was rumored that even personnel from the Dallas Cowboys came to check it out and get some ideas for their new weight room. As for equipment, I don't think my son played in the same uniform more than twice his senior year, because you've got Under Armour and all these sponsors helping with great equipment and different cool styles of uniforms for each game. The program can just pick up momentum like a snowball, gathering snow as it goes down the hill until it's a monster that can't be stopped. If you want to watch an interesting special, look at the facilities and equipment of the Alabama football program. It'll blow your mind. So those are the 3 aspects, folks. There's the funnel. Now with Katy, that's a huge suburb of Houston, Texas. They have about 10 Katy schools. In fact, Katy's only loss this year was to Katy Tompkins, another Katy program. So you've got so many kids coming in the funnel, a strict and disciplined program that gets them out you've got coaching, and you've got facilities and equipment. When Abe went to Penn to play college football, almost all of the equipment and facilities were on an inferior status to what he experienced at Lake Travis. But that's Friday Night Lights in Texas, folks. It was actually kind of funny because here in Texas, the stands are just electric and ablaze with fans with their cowbells, that even when the other team is 50 points down, they're screaming, "Kill 'em! Party at the quarterback!" and all this. And out there at Penn, the fans just sat there like this, and if I went, "Yeah, come on," they all looked at me like I was some kind of weirdo. But here's a little trivia on these particular schools, Katy and Cedar Hill, from my perspective. Now, the 2015 Lake Travis Cavaliers that my son Abe was the captain of were undefeated and one of the highest ranked teams in the whole United States, maybe ranked number 2nd. And they played the undefeated Katy Tigers that were ranked number 1 in the whole United States. And not only that, but if you look in Max Preps, they are the highest ranked Texas football team of all time, ranked number 8 as the best high school football team of all time. They had a defense that gave the word lights out defense a whole new meaning. Now, that year my son was averaging 12 yards a carry, and had he been healthy for that game, it could have been a great Texas classic of all time, because he was a strong running back, and any team, no matter how good, had to really guard the run against Abe. And once they were guarding the run, the play fakes worked like magic, and Charlie Brewer had plenty of time to hit the amazing receivers like Cade Green and Malik Barkley. But Abe was out for that game, and our defensive captain, Sammy Ochoa, had gotten in a car wreck. So what would have been one of the classics of all time turned into not a blowout, but a convincing victory for Katy. Now, on the Cedar Hill side, here's my trivia. Cedar Hill is a great program that you'll always hear their name in the conversation among the great Texas high school football programs. And in 2013, Baker Mayfield was the quarterback of the Lake Travis Cavaliers. And as I said, Abe was in the under squads, but Lake Travis played Cedar Hill in the late rounds of the playoffs. I think it might have even been a semifinal game. Like, they had a guy, and you Cedar Hill fans will remember this, they had a guy that played either offensive or defensive line, I think defensive, that was 340 pounds of solid muscle. And he was so big that he could only play 3 downs at a time. I believe that year Cedar Hill was ranked number 1 in all of Texas, and possibly number 1 in the nation. And they did beat Lake Travis. But anyway, folks, enjoy the game between these two stellar high school programs.
Pokerhouse. The side judge, Buddy Bergeron. The field judge, Scotty Allen. And the alternate is Alvin Wright.
Now these two powerhouses will meet for the 4th state championship in 10 years between the two. That pass is from Katy Salter, the star quarterback who's committed to Tennessee. Salter back. Looking, decides to just run it. Now he has 1,000 rushing yards on the season, so running it is no problem for Salter. This time will be another design quarterback run for Flora. Salter in formation, drops back, looks left, looks right, he's got his guy, it's incomplete, couldn't quite haul it in. Salter in the shotgun, dropping back. Perfectly on target, he's just got a handle on that suitcase. Katy for doing so. Clear back to the 4-yard line. They pin him deep. The Tigers are on the march. That'll be Davis for giving them some breathing room. Davis on the carry. That'll be up till about the 16-yard line. Now Katy has two brothers, Davis, that run the ball for them. Jalen and Seth. Jalen is the older at 5'11", 195 pounds. And Seth, the younger, at 5'7", 155 pounds. And together these brothers have combined. Oh, a nice little screen. Immediately dropped by that good Cedar Hill defender, number 9. And together the brothers have combined already for 41 touchdowns before this game. And there's Davis up to the 30. Now, if you expect me to keep their names differentiated throughout the game, I think you're calling a little too much for me. Because they're both named Davis, and it's going to be a little confusing for me to keep Jalen and Seth apart. Okay, driven back, now at the 16. Davis through the hole, not much there. There's a flag on the play. Dropping back, giving it to Davis, he's got room, he's up to the 20, he's up to the 25, 30, 35, 40-yard line. That Davis duo is very effective and gained some good yards for them, but they were pinned deep, and they bring them on the punting unit. They're ready to punt. 4th and 18. So a timeout. Now Cedar Hill called a timeout. I'm really not understanding this. One time in the playoffs so far, I saw a punt formation on a 4th down. The opposing team took a timeout, the other team reconsidered, and they got it, and they converted. And I'm thinking, well, why take a timeout? Why not just let them punt? Anyway, here the punt goes forward. Aims high, bounces at the 38-yard line. Okay. Caden Salter and his team take over at the 39-yard line. Nice touch on that little screen pass, and he's got room. We're up to the 45 or about 45. Nice contrast in uniforms today. We've got the bright red. And it's recovered by Katy. They're known as a defensive program. And every time I hear stuff like, well, Westlake's a 3-point underdog in this, I'm thinking, yeah, have you seen their defense? Anytime I hear, yeah, Katy's only ranked number 9 in the USA, I'm thinking, yeah, have you seen their defense?
There's a catch and a ball by the offense, recovered by the defense. The previous play is in
Says it's covered. Oh, he had it. He was just getting us laid on by, I believe it was number 42, and knocked that ball loose. That play is under review. As you can tell, I'm on the Katy sideline. Here, the starting running back for the Cedar Hill Longhorns, he's not present. His name is Young, and he broke his ankle in their playoff game against the Midway Panthers. So every Longhorn has KY5 on the back of their helmet. That's his initials and his jersey number. They're honoring their fallen star, which I think is a great thing, because a lot of times in Texas football, these guys are kind of like celebrities on campus, but once they're down, they're kind of like a nobody. So it's really nice that Well complete. We'll have to punt. He gets it on the sideline. His coach says go, and he does up to the 31 or 32. And Katy will take over in a scoreless match at AT&T Stadium between the teams that have played each other 4 times. So the state championship, 23 up the hole. He's got about 5. Well, who will score first? So a little sweep, caught in the backfield, not much there. Around the original line of scrimmage. Number 20 on the tackle. Number 10 back to throw. He's got his guy. He's got a gain of about 12 up to the 41-yard line. They look like they're on the march. There's Davis, gets tripped up, gains a couple. Anyway, as I was talking, the star running back, Young, for the Cedar Hill, he's out. And his teammates are remembering him. Number 10, back to pass. Good play action. Oh, he's got some room. So they're honoring him, and I think that's good. But Young himself, I hope he's at the game. He probably is, but he's a Texas Longhorn now. He could be on a cart just touring around the playing field of the Texas Longhorns. No, I'm sure he's at the game, but I mean, a lot of these guys, they go on to their whoever drafted them for college, and they get into the scheme of things after this state game. In fact, the quarterback, Katy Salter for Cedar Hill, he's leaving tomorrow for Tennessee, and going to start getting into the swing of things with the Tennessee football program. All right, they're up to the 41. 10 back, Davis up to the 41 and a half. Doesn't seem like real significant runs each time, but somehow at the end of the downs, they have a first down. Okay, rolling left, firing. Simon County is waving a little bit. It is a corner catch. Now we'll put Katy on top, 7-0. It's a nice little corner catch, especially if they show it up there on the big screen. Now you see that quarterback, he's not very big. He doesn't really look like a Texas 6A quarterback. But the reason for that is their star, the senior, Brandon Campbell. No, not Brandon Campbell. Let's see what's his name. He was the star quarterback for Katy. You better quit talking for a second. All right, Cedar Longhorn ball. Back to pass. He's looking, he's running. Sorry, this new Sony sports cam, it's a professional camera I'm using, is a little different than my other one, so I'm missing a few things here and there. I'll try to get into the hang of it. Oh, it's picked up by Katy at the 40. Katy ball. Davis on the carry. He's got space. This is quite the smaller of the two. Perfectly on target. Number 4 played on to the 2. And another Katy touchdown. Now I've heard that Brandon Campbell, the USC commit, transferred into Katy and will be there with them this coming season. Or maybe it was this season. But these big-time programs, they get transfers, they get people coming from other parts of the country bringing their kid. Let's face it, if you're on Katy, if you're on Cedar Hill, if you're on South Lake Carroll, if you're on Westlake, if you're on Lake Travis, your chances of getting recruited if you're good
or almost 100%. All right, there's Salter back. Nice. Salter's a great quarterback. Before I even knew he was going to Tennessee, after watching him just once, I knew he was prime time, man. He's got it going on there. Not only as a passer, but as a rusher. He had 1,000 yards rushing this season. They are struggling, I would say, against the Katy Tigers. The last game I filmed them in, they had a lot of little circular swing routes where the receiver would kind of circle back and go forward, and he'd hit them, and they were very well timed, and they were very, very effective. But so far, they're having a little hard time getting going against Katy. Katy ball again at the 41. And a good run up the gut for about 10. Sophomore quarterback number 10, he's doing a good job. The name is escaping me, but their big-time star quarterback, senior, I think he was a senior, he got caught with some marijuana in his truck or car and basically got disciplined. That discipline led to him filing some kind of a lawsuit that wasn't very successful, and they're up to the 30-yard line. And so finally, he just packed his bags and left to another school district. So this quarterback you're seeing, I'm pretty sure he's only a sophomore. He's not very big. He's like 5'7", 150 pounds or something. He's doing a job in there. They look at him. Yeah, maybe the whole USA is going to top, but here in Texas, it's not exactly the fad of the century. And they will discipline players even for having marijuana on the school campus like he did. Or in his suit, he claimed that they did not test it for THC and maybe it wasn't really marijuana. But I think the average person, the average Joe, knew what it was. All right, Cedar Hill. On the return, going the wrong direction. Now he's headed the right direction. Before he gets up to about the 29-yard line. Rolling to the left. Cheers starting to come up from the Katy sideline as they like what they're seeing. Kano drops the ball. He is not looking like his usual self, folks. I've seen Caden Salter in the last game, the game they had to win to get here, and that was a wonderful game. I ought to watch it on my channel here because it ended in a tie, and it was just a really, really exciting game. I think it was Rockwell that played. But he looked like a totally different quarterback in that game. I don't know if he's just having an off day or if what's going on, but it's a little bit, I'm a little curious about his play, why it looks kind of like he's done really well together compared to that last game. All right, number 10 back, they have it together. Chris exchanges, number 28 to the 45-yard line.
Katy driving behind that big offensive line. And the Davis brothers, oh look, he goes around Jalen and then hands it in on the other side and tricks everybody. And now he's down to the 10 and the 5 and to the house. Jalen Davis with another touchdown. I don't know if that's number 43 or the Davis brothers or what. Time is short in the second half. And, you know, what is that coach going to say to his team down 24 points to one of the stoutest defenses in football? I think all of Texas football world has got to be surprised at this 24-0 game. Cedar Hill is a dynamic winning club with a 12-1 record.
And last week they fight and clawed to an overtime victory over Rockwall at 27-24. But they just don't seem to look to have that same spit and vinegar in them as they did last week. But then a great defense like Katy can do that to people. Now Katy, I believe, is 13-1, and they've been really cleaning opponents. So maybe there's some that are not surprised, but me, I am surprised because I was really impressed with Salter's play last week. Well, that'll do it for the half. Yeah, finally goes, I don't know what I'm going to say to my club. I might just pass out cold Red Bulls and tell them to get going. All right, here we go. Second half. Oh, they come out with an onside kick. Kind of bowls him over. I don't even know who's got it. I guess the referee will take a minute to try to figure out what happened, as I am figuring out what happened. I've noticed with those onside kicks, if they work, everybody says, man, our coach is brilliant. But about 2/3 of the time or 3/4 of the time they don't work, and then everybody says, what'd they do that for? The referee is evidently trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, 81 gets a penalty for bowling the dude over. Yeah, let's just block him to the ground and take the ball. Katy with excellent field position at the 49 of Cedar Hill. Here we go. Second half of play. What adjustments did the Longhorns make? What adjustments can they make? Here we go, up the middle. Not much there. Cedar Hill is holding firm at this point. How about a shout out to that offensive line of Katy? Wow, they have been doing a job. That's maybe why when that star quarterback got busted for pot, the team didn't really stagger or stutter, is because that offensive line. You got an offensive line like that and a quarterback who can hand off the ball efficiently, which this one can, and two backs as good as the Davis brothers, and who cares about quarterback, right? You know what's funny is I tried to look up on the Katy roster who this quarterback even is and what his name is, but he wasn't even on the roster because I think he's a sophomore. They did not have a number 10 on the site that I checked. Well, I'll just call him number 10 and say that he's doing a very efficient job marching his team downward. There's Jalen again. I'm starting to get him figured out. Jalen is number 26. And Seth is number 23. Maybe it's 28. I don't know it. It's a 26 or 28. My eyes are not my right most redeeming feature. That's pretty cool. That must be a talented family to have two brothers with that kind of running ability in the same family. I had my oldest son, he's a musician. And his younger brother, Abe, was the real star athlete. But my oldest son played a little football too. And one time Abe came to one of the 8th grade games, and just for fun after the game, oh, nice little out. Just for fun after the game, Abe went back in the backfield, and they kicked it to him, and none of these 8th graders could catch 5th grade Abe, and he went almost clear to the house. All right, they're just doing what they do. Let that big offensive line push guys out of the way and let the runners gain 3 to 9 yards of play. That's their formula. And he's rolling to the right. I'm sorry I didn't catch that for you with the camera, guys. That was an incomplete pass. Third down 5. It's interesting. It looks like almost 3rd and goal, but there must be a sliver of real estate between the stick and the goal line. Hey, Cedar Hills look like they're maybe the coach did give them a Red Bull. They look a little energized and like they're going to make a red zone stop here. Maybe it was a Red Bull for the red zone. Ha ha ha. 27-0 Katy. Film that kickoff out well for you. I'm doing a lot here because I'm running the camera, I'm doing the commentary. I'm kind of a one-man band. It's like when I played down in Barton Springs with my music, he stumbles forward to the 32. I play the guitar and the harmonica and sing, and sometimes I'm filming myself too. So give me a little grace, guys. I got a lot going on here at AT&T Stadium. The one-man football filming operation, Cedar Hill. Lining up, hoping to get something going, hoping to get started. Here they are, about the 29-yard line. Spacey, stop on Spacey, breaks it clear up to the 40. Nice. It's like they're finally getting the running game going. If they could do that with someone other than Salter, who's been running just fine, things would open up for them. But when you can't tilt the rock, you're left to some tricky routes and a perfect quarterback who's having an on day, and he may not be on that on day. Salter back, 49-yard line. Now, I didn't like that play. Oh! Looks like Hamilton McMartin scooped it up and is taking it to the house. 55 yards to the house. He gets your name in the line for the defensive player of the game. Getting pretty quiet over there on that Cedar Park sideline. We got us a 34-0. What's starting to look like a rout here in Texas. Lining up to kick it off. A beautiful sight, isn't it? That flag and the star, crimson, white uniforms, kicking deep. That will not be returned. Okie doke. Cedar. Well, just when Cedar Hill looked like they were getting their running game operational, they had a turnover. It's got to be a hard, long afternoon for them so far. Salter back. Got a wide set. Yeah, goes with the run again. Seems like that's what they do. They spread them wide so it looks like a full-on pass attack, and they give it to the running back. Not much there. Hasn't been much there all afternoon, huh? Well, it sure is a beautiful venue for football. And in motion, Salter rolling left, looking downfield. Hey, he's got his guy. Beautiful sink route. That's what I was seeing just time and again in the Rockball game. Just get those receivers going on those short routes. Sometimes they're actually circling around toward the quarterback, hit him in sync, and bam, he got 7 or 8 yards. Do it again and a few more times, and eventually open up that big deep ball, and they were moving the ball efficiently. And a big third down here is going to get some noise in the air. He launches one deep. Oh! See, I told you he's got an arm. Not complete that time, but no lack of arm strength. That'll be interesting to see what he does up in Tennessee. That's a big-time program. He's a very adept quarterback, and especially providing a running game is there for him, and he's got that. Whoa! Beautiful carry. I talked about not having a running game, and then the guy carries it almost to the 4 or 5 yard line. That was a beautiful run. Look at that.
Ashton, number 14, on the carry.
Yeah.
He was finally pulled down at the 4-yard. He was brought down by number 82, Antonio Silva.
Trying to get that Antonio Silva body down. Look at it, number 14, streaking down the sideline. Where has he been all day? Well, guys, that's giving them something to cheer about. Do a little boogie over. Well, maybe that'll get it going, huh? Alright, Salter rolling right, firing. Oh, the slices now. Uh-oh, big number 77. He looks like the key piece of their offensive line is stumbling. And he had to take at least down off. Salter rolling again. In trouble. Not quite there. So now let's see if they can punch it in. So they like to get something on the board here. Oh, okay, great strike. Cowboys are very good at global truck food. It's also the running in himself. Cedar Hill is finally on the board. Okay, and that should bring us a score of 34-7. With 4:28 to go in the third quarter. The Cedar Hill Tumblers finally get to do their tumble. Look at that beautiful run by number 14. I just have to ask myself, where has that play in this running back been this whole game? I haven't even really seen plays designed to give it to you. You know, I do know that their main running back was injured against Midway, broken ankle. Yeah, I'm sure that was a blow, but like, this team's got to have a backup running back, and who does 14 games? I'm not really sure, but somebody's got to step up when the star goes down. Okay, onside kick attempt again, nobody's fooled. Driving that corner efficiently. Taken down, the Davis brothers. Boy, if somebody didn't know they had two of them, they'd think, man, that running back's getting about 36 carries a game, that Davis. But because there's two of them, they really probably just each getting maybe 15, 18. Now there's a back that I haven't seen before, number 23. Oh, of course I have. That's Seth. Chandler. Hey, just take turns. Okay, they'll go for that field goal. And the kick is good. Well, if you're still with us, you're a loyal fan. 30. Okay, up to 33. Okay, he's got a running back there, but it's not number 16. Had the big carry. Oh! Oh, he hits him in stride. Oh, that's what we've been waiting for. Looks like Cedar Hill might be getting some momentum here. Completes the deep ball to about the 20. First down, Cedar Hill. Coming off a touchdown drive. Able to hold Katy to 3. Might be a little bit of a game yet, huh? Oh, we got lit up. That's a line scrimmage. Big number 77's back in. That's a good sign. I'm sure they appreciate having him in there. It's like the biggest guy on the field. Number 12 falls down in an awkward way. Number 12 looks like he might want to get to the sideline. But he's a fighter. You can tell he's struggling. Almost looked like he got the breath knocked out of him. Big third down. Katy fans come alive. Oh, sorry about that, man. Catch up, but that wasn't completion. Let's see if we can get it for you up here on the big screen.
Ball resting just inside
Often show them again, but this time they didn't. Sorry about that. Okay, Salter off to the right. Hey, he breaks the plane, it looks like. Yep, that's a score. All right, we've got us a 13 points for Cedar Hill. Nice.
And the extra point kick is good. Making the score now. Katy 37, Cedar Hill 14.
Okay, that brings us to a 14-37 ball game, folks. Here's some of the highlights for you. Jumbotron makes those red uniforms look orange, doesn't it? That's a good run by Salty. Now, if I give it to a back, or a guy who may not even be a back, maybe he's a receiver that came in, number 16, and he goes for a 50-yard scamper, I'm going to tell myself, all right, let's get that guy in as running back. You just got a new position, number 16. That's what I do if I'm a coach. You got to have a running game. You can't just, no matter how good your passing attack is, you can't just rely on that solely. And I'm sure they've got athletes on that squad. Oh, we've got a man down after that. Another failed onside kick attempt. Well, my number one priority with this team would be to see who's going to be the next man up at running back. Yeah, it's kind of cool what they got going when it works. It worked against Rockwall. Just basically a spread of receivers, nifty routes, and a good arm and a good synchronization with his receivers by Salter. But me, I'm a guy that likes a running game. It just opens everything up. Number 18 hopefully is okay. He's getting up under his own steam, walking off the field. He looks like a fast individual. Here goes Katy in that big offensive line again. The Davis brothers. That one is the younger of the two, Seth. It looks like Seth again. He's got some nifty cuts. He's maybe the smaller of the two, but his athleticism makes up for it. Once again, Seth on the carry. No problem. Just keep moving the sticks with the running game. Now this quarterback has done a great job stepping in and replacing the star. And he's done what's needed. But could you imagine? might lose. That's Seth again. I think it was. All right. So could you imagine what kind of a insane offense this would be if you had a good passer like, well, not that this guy isn't a good passer, but what I'm trying to say is if you had a real passing game together with that running game, now when it's working as good as it is, you don't really need one, but boy, passing game added to that incredible run game they got would be something else. All right, that'll make it 50-14. 51-14. Here's the drive. Oh, quick interception. Big 91 taking it in on a short field. Just when it felt like Cedar Hill might be getting back in the game, really get that interception. Okay. They're trying to get that running game going. Somebody down there was listening to me. But I don't see number 18, the guy that had the big carry. Well, if you look at the scores of what Katy's been doing to people, even in the postseason, you won't be that surprised at this game. Yeah, it looks like Cedar Hill just had a really flat outing, and there's no doubt that they are having a flat outing. I think Cedar Hill, as their normal selves, could give even Katy a run for their money. They are having a flat outing, there's no doubt about it. But on the other hand, you look at the scores and how Katy has annihilated people, even in the playoffs. And it's not just a flat Cedar Hill team. It's a great defense that probably deserves more credit than they have been getting. And Durable Davis. I haven't been seeing the older brother in for a little bit. The last drive was a big dose of Seth, number 23. Is Jalen okay? Oh yeah, he is. There he is. Again. Football in its simplest form. Strong guys up front. Big guys win games when the fourth quarter comes and everyone's tired, and just run the ball. Up to the 28-yard line. Scampers up to the 32. Well, I hope you've been enjoying all this wonderful high school football I've been bringing you guys. I've filmed some good games this fall. The game between Steele and Round Rock ended in a tie. The game between Cedar Hill and Rockwall ended in a tie. And then we've had some real great games, like, I gotta say, the Westlake North Shore game was one of my favorites. And they're climbing trees and getting ready for the game. There's Mary. Completing his tenure with the Texas Longhorns. Hey, he's got it! Oh, this is it. 4th and a foot. Oh, and the catch is made at the 38-yard line. And a big 3rd and 7. Make no mistake, Southlake's kicker could convert this if they can't. Hey, he's got it for a touchdown! Bringing us to a tie.
thing of beauty.
That guy looks like he'd run about 11.8 in the 100.
I'll show you that drive.